Apple Resources Private Limited.
Welcome students to an enriching learning journey ahead with Wood Apple Resources. Class 5 English. I am your teacher Sanvi. Here are your friends.
I am Ruby. I am Abhi.
Dear students, today I am going to teach you Chapter 9, Let My Country Awake. Let's get started. Look at the picture. Can you identify who the poet is?
I'm not sure, but I think it might be Rabindranath Tagore.
Yes, absolutely correct. Today, we are going to understand a beautiful poem by Rabindranath Tagore. Tagore was a famous poet from India who loved to write about big ideas like freedom, truth, and unity. In this poem, Tagore dreams of a perfect world where people are free, happy, and always learning. As we read and understand the poem, think about what a perfect world would look like to you. Imagine a place where everyone is kind, smart, and works together. Let's begin. Recite the lines along with me. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. In these lines, the poet imagines a perfect place where people aren't afraid and can think freely and confidently. It's a place where everyone has access to education and knowledge. He also dreams of a world where people aren't divided by things like race, religion, or country, and everyone lives together peacefully without separation. Let's move on to the next few lines. Where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. In these lines, the poet describes a place where people always speak honestly and sincerely. Everyone works very hard and tries their best to improve and become perfect. He also wants a world where people think clearly and use their reason instead of just following old, unhelpful habits without thinking. This is a place where truth, hard work, and clear thinking are very important. Let us recite the last few lines together. Where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. In these lines, the poet prays for a place where God guides people's minds to think bigger and do more good things. He dreams of a country where people have the freedom to grow, learn, and act in wonderful ways. The poet asks God to help his country wake up and become this perfect place of freedom and progress. The poem tells us to think freely, learn a lot, and work together without fear. It also encourages us to use our minds wisely and strive to make the world a better place. Let's move on to grammar. Read out the sentences along with me. She sings beautifully. He writes neatly. Can one of you identify the verbs in the sentences?
I can give you the answers. The verbs are sings and writes.
Bang on! Now look at the words beautifully and neatly. They answer the question how. That is, how does she sing? Beautifully. And how does he write? Neatly. Thus, both of these words modify the verbs sings and writes. Therefore, we can say that an adverb is a word that modifies the meaning of a verb, adjective, or adverb. Adverbs often answer questions like how, when, where, and to what extent. Here are a few more examples of adverbs in sentences. Ravina dances gracefully. The soldiers fought bravely. In these sentences, the adverbs gracefully and bravely modify the verbs dances and fought. Let's move on to learn about different kinds of adverbs. An adverb of manner is a word that describes how an action is performed. It tells us the way or manner in which something happens or is done. Examples: quickly, carefully. She quickly ran to catch the bus. The adverb quickly describes how she ran. It tells us that she ran in a fast manner to catch the bus. He carefully painted the painting. The adverb carefully describes how he painted. It tells us that he painted the picture with a lot of care and attention to detail. In both sentences, the adverbs of manner give us more information about the way the actions running and painting are performed. Now, we will take a look at adverbs of time. An adverb of time is a word that tells us when an action happens. Examples: tomorrow, now. We will meet tomorrow. The adverb tomorrow tells us when the action of the meeting will take place. It modifies the verb will meet by providing information about the time of the action. She is leaving now. The adverb now tells us when the action of leaving is happening. It modifies the verb is leaving by providing information about the time of the action. In both sentences, the adverbs of time, tomorrow, and now specify when the actions meeting and leaving occur. An adverb of place is a word that tells us where an action happens. Examples: outside, everywhere. The children are playing outside. The adverb outside tells us where the action of playing is taking place. It modifies the verb are playing by providing information about the location of the action. She looked everywhere for her keys. The adverb everywhere tells us where the action of looking took place. It modifies the verb looked by providing information about the various places she searched for her keys. In both sentences, the adverbs of place, outside, and everywhere specify where the actions playing and looking occur. An adverb of frequency is a word that tells us how often an action happens. Examples: always, sometimes. He always wakes up early. The adverb always tells us how often the action of waking up occurs. It modifies the verb wakes up by providing information about the frequency of the action, indicating that it happens every time without exception. They sometimes go to the beach. The adverb sometimes tells us how often the action of going to the beach occurs. It modifies the verb go by providing information about the frequency of the action, indicating that it happens occasionally but not all the time. In both sentences, the adverbs of frequency, always and sometimes, specify how often the actions waking up and going to the beach occur. Now let's test ourselves. Whoopi, can you help me? Identify the adverbs and state their kind. The baby cried loudly during the movie.
Loudly, adverb of manner.
We usually go hiking on weekends.
Usually, adverb of frequency.
He left the house early this morning.
Early, adverb of time.
They moved here last month.
Here, adverb of place. Last month, adverb of time.
Well done, Whoopi. Thank you for joining us. Keep learning and exploring with Wood Apple Resources.